Good afternoon. Good to see everyone. I'd like to give you an update on the ongoing efforts across the State Department regarding Afghanistan, and then happy to take questions after that. So earlier this week, a few hours after the military mission in Afghanistan ended and a new diplomatic mission began, I laid out some of the main elements of our plan for this next chapter. Here's where we are as of today. First, our new team in Doha is up and running. Second, we're in constant contact with Americans who remain in Afghanistan and may still wish to leave. We've assigned case management teams to each remaining American citizen who's expressed an interest in leaving. As you know, starting in March, we sent 19 separate notices to American citizens in Afghanistan, encouraging and then urging them to leave. Most of the remaining American citizens are dual nationals whose home is Afghanistan and whose extended families live there. So it's no surprise that deciding whether or not to leave the place they call home is a wrenching decision. We're also in touch with others working to help at-risk people leave Afghanistan. That includes our foreign partners, news organizations, private foundations. There are a lot of extremely complex logistical issues to address and coordinate. We're working through them as quickly and as methodically as we possibly can. Let me say a few words also about those Afghans who applied for or may be eligible for special immigrant visas. There have been questions about the backlog of SIV applicants and why more of these men and women weren't already out of Afghanistan by the time the evacuation operation began. So let me give you a little bit more context on this. When we took office, we inherited a backlog of more than 17,000 SIV applicants. The program was basically in a dead stall. There had not been a single interview of an SIV applicant in Kabul in the 9 months prior to us taking office, going back to March of 2020. COVID-19, of course, was a major impediment. As you may know, the process for approving a special immigrant visa is not a simple one. There are 14 steps laid out in a statute passed by Congress. These are congressional requirements. They involve multiple departments and agencies, not just the State Department. The most time-consuming steps often aren't handled by this department. We were determined to fix this. Within 2 weeks of taking office, we restarted the SIV interview process in Kabul. On February 4th, one of the very first executive orders issued by President Biden directed us to complete a review of the entire SIV program, to identify causes of undue delay, to find ways to process SIV applications more quickly and effectively. I directed additional resources, significant additional resources to the program, including adding 50 people to the team in Washington to process applications. We also sent more SIV adjudicators to our embassy in Kabul, doubling the resources at our embassy in Kabul working on SIV cases. And all of this was in the springtime. When our embassy went on ordered departure in April, and many embassy personnel returned to the United States, we sent more consular officers to Kabul to work on processing SIV applications. As a result of these and other steps, including working with Congress, by May, we'd reduced the average processing time for special immigrant visas by more than a year. Even in the midst of a COVID surge in June, we continued to issue visas. And we went from issuing about 100 special immigrant visas every week in March to more than 1,000 every week in August. In July, as some of you will remember, we launched Operation Allies Refuge with relocation flights to bring Afghans eligible for SIVs, as well as their family members, to the United States. And of course, we negotiated third country sites to host SIV candidates as we processed their applications. We continue to process as many SIV applications as possible. We're exploring alternative ways to process applications so applicants don't have to wait in Afghanistan until we're finished, but instead, if they can get to a third country for additional processing before coming to the United States. We've also now learned from hard experience that the SIV process was not designed to be done in an evacuation emergency. There are lessons here that we need to learn. We will learn, even as our work continues, ways to make the program run more efficiently, more effectively. One final note on the SIVs. I want to thank the many veterans of the war in Afghanistan who are working individually or through veteran service organizations to help Afghans who help them. State Department officials conferred with the veterans groups throughout the evacuation operation. I just spoke with several of them, along with Dennis McDonough, the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, who are using their voices, their networks, their resources to do all they can to help their friends and comrades. We will partner with them on how to help SIV candidates in Afghanistan. They have ideas that we'll be incorporating into the planning and work that we're doing. We have a relocation task force that is up and running right now, and the information, the ideas that we're getting from the veterans community are being put into that process. And simply put, I shared our gratitude to them for their incredibly important and passionate advocacy. Helping these Afghans is more than a priority for us. It is a deeply held commitment, and it's an ongoing one. We're going to do everything we can to keep it in the days, weeks, and months ahead. Third, our diplomacy with allies and partners continues to intensify. That diplomacy has already produced a statement signed by more than 100 countries and a UN Security Council resolution that makes clear the international community's expectations of a Taliban-led government, including freedom of travel, making good on its commitments on counterterrorism, upholding the basic rights of Afghans, including women and minorities, and forming an inclusive government and rejecting reprisals. In a couple of days on Sunday, I'll be heading to Doha, where I'll meet with Qatari leaders to express our deep gratitude for all that they're doing to support the evacuation effort. I'll also have a chance to meet with Afghans, including our locally employed staff from Embassy Kabul, who are now safely in Doha preparing for their journey to the United States. And I'll convey our pride and thanks to the diplomats, troops, and other U.S. government employees in Doha who are doing truly heroic work around the clock to keep this process moving forward as quickly and humanely as possible. From there, we're heading to Ramstein Air Base in Germany, where, again, I'll have a chance to meet with Afghans awaiting processing and the Americans who are staffing that effort. I'll also meet with Foreign Minister Maas of Germany, and we'll hold a ministerial meeting on Afghanistan with him live and then virtually with other partners. It'll include more than 20 countries that all have a stake in helping to relocate and resettle Afghans and in holding the Taliban to their commitments. Fourth, we continue to maintain channels of communication with the Taliban on issues that are important to us, starting with the commitment to let people leave Afghanistan should they choose to do so. Fifth, we're working closely with our partners Qatar and Turkey to help get the airport in Kabul up and running as quickly as possible. Sixth, on the humanitarian front, the U.S. Treasury Department has issued specific licenses to allow U.S. government agencies, contractors, and grant recipients to continue to provide critical and life-saving humanitarian aid to the people of Afghanistan, despite sanctions on the Taliban. Consistent with our sanctions, this aid will not flow through the government, but rather through independent organizations. Seventh, we've heard from many private companies, NGOs, foundations, looking to help welcome Afghans arriving in the United States. Some have already made very, very significant pledges. That's terrific. It's also not surprising. That's what we do. The United States stands apart from many for our global leadership in private philanthropy and welcoming immigrants and refugees into our communities. That's part of our DNA. We're issuing a call to action to other companies and organizations that want to help Afghans starting new lives in the United States. We will help you find a way to make an impact. Last night I had a chance to go out to the Dulles Expo Center, some of you may have visited, where I saw the incredible operation that we, together with DHS, DOD, HHS, USAID, are running to welcome new Afghan arrivals when they first touch down in the United States. Many thousands of people have fled fear and desperation and now hope for a better life and future here with us. And our people made that happen. Earlier today, I had a chance to meet with our team from Embassy Kabul back home in the United States. I spoke with employees across the department at an all-hands town hall. These past few weeks have been very intense. They've demanded a lot from a lot of people here at the department, people who rose to the challenge and continue to give their all. I talked to colleagues, consular officers who were on the line, shoulder to shoulder with the Marines, including those who lost their lives, literally pulling people into the airport and into safety and ultimately onto freedom. And again, we talk a lot about the numbers and we throw a lot of statistics around, but each one of those was a mother, a father, a son, a daughter, a parent, a grandparent, and I have remarkable pride in what our people did, what our service members did, what our other colleagues across the government did to help. And as I said the other day, particularly for those who gave their lives in this effort, some of us, maybe the most exceptional among us, are called upon to do a life's work, a life's service in a short period of time. And those 13 did a life's work of service in a very short period of time. And what I told our own colleagues here today, who were part of that effort, no matter what they do going forward in the, I hope, many, many years that they will continue to serve, they too have already done a life's work of service in a very, very short period of time. We're not stopping our work to help Americans and at-risk Afghans in Afghanistan. We're going to do everything we can moving forward to continue this mission and also to learn from it. We owe it to ourselves, we owe it to the American people to reflect on what we did, how we did it, what worked, what didn't, what we can do better. We'll deliver on that too. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you.